What's good, y'all? It's Classic MMA, and I'll be doing my UFC Fight Night London full card recap. So, pretty solid card, honestly. Did pretty solid on predictions, Had some fun fights, so let's get into it. First fight of the night, we had Chanel Dyer versus Ravina Oliveira. Dyer has a pretty slow first round. I thought she lost. She could have lost that round. She could have lost on output because Oliveira was whiffing a lot of shots, but Dyer was really just landing inside low kicks, and that was about it. Then second round, she just lands a head kick on Oliveira, rocks her badly, and then gets the finish. Actually, a pretty nasty finish for WMMA. I mean, Dyer, I don't rate her too highly as Oliveira's pretty low level, but still pretty solid finish. I mean, surprising to see in WMMA, like pretty crazy. So Dyer went, and we got that pick wrong, right? So started 1-0 on this card. So Dyer wins by second round TKO. Then next fight on the card, I picked Shamrock here, and what's this guy's name? Abdul Al Sawadi wins this fight by unanimous decision. This is an interesting fight, say lady. So first round, very Shamrock walks in here, talking trash, being egotistical like he usually is, but just kind of gets pieced up a lot in this round. If I remember, I'm pretty sure that's the round he got dropped, and just gets kind of pieced up by Al Sawadi. Lands a couple of decent high kicks, and Al Sawadi's poor chin shows as he gets rocked, but he wins the first round. Second round, another Al Sawadi round as he just lands more than Shamrock. Shamrock isn't really let his hands go. He rocks Al Sawadi again with a head kick, but doesn't do anything with it. And Al Sawadi just wins on output. So Al Sawadi wins that round. Then third round, Al Sawadi starts to gas a bit. Shamrock notices that, but doesn't really do much. Doesn't let his hands go. Lands again the lead side head kick because that's literally all he had in this fight. Unsurprisingly, rocks Al Sawadi as this dude has like 4 knockout losses, but solid win for Al Sawadi. Shamrock he didn't look like he belonged in the UFC, to be honest. In there, he was getting pieced up. Did not want to let his hands go. Didn't want to grapple. Didn't want to do anything, honestly. Shamrock just looked awful. So good win for Abdul Al Sawadi. We might talk about who he fights tomorrow. All right, moving on. Brando Pericic wins by round 1 TKO, exactly like I said. Him fight starts. Louis Sutherland comes in there, throws some big bombs at Pericic. Throws a really nice overhand that could have rocked Pericic, but Pericic eats these shots pretty well. And then he's able to grab a hold of him after a couple minutes. He grabs a hold of him, lands a couple of knees to Sutherland's head, and then he just kind of falls and gives up because he's a fat heavyweight, and he finishes him with ground and pound. Good win for Pericic. Guy's pretty strong, has very solid grappling, has a very high level striking game, has pretty good chin for heavyweight too. Is able to eat some big shots from a guy like Sutherland with a lot of KOs on his record. I think Pericic is going to be pretty solid at heavyweight. I think he's like a top 15 level heavyweight at the very least, which I know ain't saying a lot, but I do think he's pretty high level. And he was also one of the locks that cashed, so I'm pretty happy about that too. So next on the card we had what's this guy's name? Montes Casta Vivius. I can't remember how to say this guy's name, but Montes picks up the win here by unanimous decision. I predicted TKO. Didn't go exactly how I expected against Antonio Chicole. First round, honestly, Montes does he pieces up Chicole on the feet, lands some good shots, but isn't able really to hurt him that badly, and then Chicole kind of stalls him on the fence. I scored that round for Montes. Montes did land like 20 significant strikes to like Chicole's 2. Like Chicole was just trying to survive by cage smudging. This becomes a theme in this fight. Second round, early in the round, Montes actually while they're about to clinch, Chicole's coming in to clinch Montes, and he just lands a nasty elbow on Chicole. Drops him, kind of fumbles the finish, isn't able to land any ground and pounder whatsoever. So and then she lets Chicole up. Chicole gets up and then just kind of holds him on the fence again. Well, Montes lands some nice elbows on the inside of the clinch, but doesn't really do much to Chicole. So I scored that round for Montes as well. Could have been a 10-8, honestly. I think he's landed like 40 to 4 significant strikes. And then third round, actually probably the round Chicole did the best as is early in the round. Chicole's actually able to take him down. It takes his back. Could have subbed Montes, to be honest. Like, he had his back, and then for some reason, just kind of fumbles the finish. Doesn't really do anything on his back, and Montes eventually gets the energy to get up. Then they just kind of hug around on the fence, and then eventually a nut shot happens, like, last 2 minutes of the round. So then they both kind of get a bit of a rest. Then Montes goes hard for the last 10 seconds. Nearly finishes Chicole with some big shots at the end, but overall, pretty mediocre fight. Like, it had some fun moments, but overall wasn't the best. Montes, I don't know about him. His grappling's pretty bad. His cardio is kind of non-existent after like the first round and a half. Has good power, but like I don't know. I I will be cautious of picking this kid in the future. Still, solid win from him, and probably has a decent future in the UFC. So good for him. Next on the card, we had Mario Pinto picking up a win by unanimous decision. Very unexpected result here. So against Felipe Franco, who's a pretty low-level guy of the Contender Series. I think Pinto's going to win this pretty clearly. But round one, Pinto kind of just clinches him around, grabs him a lot, doesn't really land anything. Arguably a Franco round, as Franco does land a couple decent shots on the guard. Like, arguably could have scored that round for Franco, even though I did score it for Pinto. Then round two, Pinto just kind of does the same, hugs him on the fence. At one point, gets a takedown, gets the full mount, but then Franco just stands up. Like, apparently that gym teacher's a better grappler than Mario Pinto. They found the Dana White Contender Series. And then third round comes, and then Pinto just smudges him on the cage again. Genuinely one of the worst fights I've ever seen in my life. This is just the definition of heavyweight slap. I actually thought Pinto was pretty good, as he had a really good performance against Gennady Diniz, but for some reason, wasn't able to take down Franco. Didn't want to let his hands go on the feet. Just stood around at range and then grabbed him and held him on the clinch. Like, genuinely an awful fight. Like, please never make me watch that again. That's one of the worst fights I think I've ever seen in my life. That's up there for worst fight of the year for sure. A couple are on this card. Let's just say that. So anyways, moving on. We had Nathaniel Wood. Just as I predicted, the crafty little underdog pick here. Nathaniel Wood picks up a win by split decision. Against Losin Kieta. I know people are screaming robbery, but I don't think this fight was robbery. Let me explain this. So round one, so it's a pretty low output round. Wood lands some decent low kicks. Keita doesn't really touch him like once, honestly. I think he lands maybe one jab. Kind of lands a lot on Wood's guard. Wood was very good defensively in this fight. So I think he wins round one just slightly on output, landing the low kicks. Being smart. I mean, he was looking a little flat-footed. His movement wasn't the best, but I thought he won that round. Then second round, this was the round I did give the Keita, or Wood won this round from kind of the same round. Honestly, it was mostly the same as the first round. Low kicks. Wood lands a couple decent, shots like straights, jabs, couple of those. Then right at the end of the round, the last 3 seconds of the round, Keita lands a right hook that rocks Wood. Well, I don't even know if it rocks him, but it stuns him. And then just because of that stunning, because it was a low output round, I did score that for Keita. Then round three comes along. This round is actually the one where the fight actually starts to pick up. Wood starts to let his hands go a lot more in this round. Lands some nice jabs, lands some straights, lands an overhand. Keita lands a couple good shots, lands a knee. But I thought Wood won that round pretty clearly on output. So overall, I scored this fight 29-28 Wood. I do not think this had to be a split decision. I thought Wood won 1-3 pretty clearly, but very solid win by Nathaniel Wood. This guy's good, man. He is just the ults. He's crafty, man. And I don't think he's a boring fighter because of this fight. Like, this fight was boring because, he was fighting smart, okay? Like, against someone with big power like Keita, that's how you're going to fight. Or you're getting slept. That's kind of how it works. But I think I'd love to see Wood against, honestly, any top 15 guy. I'd be down to see him against, a Melky Costa or Arnold Allen loser. I'd be down to see him against, David Onama, Giga Chikate if he's still ranked. I think Wood needs to get a ranked opponent next, but I'll discuss who that is next tomorrow. So, good win for Nathaniel Wood. And Losin Kieta is overrated. Told you. Told you so. Next on the card, we have Mason Jones picking up a win by unanimous decision in one of the most bloody fights I've seen all year. So, let me break this down for you. First round, Solo comes in hot, man. He lands, or Jones is kind of leading the dance on the front foot, not being good defensively whatsoever. Wins the start of the round, but then Solo is able to actually drop him with a spinning elbow, I believe. It was a spinning elbow, yeah. It was a spinning elbow that drops Jones. Jones survives, and then comes back later in the round, in the first round, and lands some big shots on Solo. Hurts him pretty badly, too. I scored that round for Solo because of the knockdown, but close round. Then second round, Jones just kind of picks up the pace a lot here. Does the classic Mason Jones, where he just locks in after getting dropped in the first round. Walks in there, and just kind of is more aggressive than Solo. Solo is a good counter striker. He lands some good shots, but Jones is kind of just walking him down, landing his shots, putting on a big performance, and second round goes pretty clearly to him. Then round three comes along. Solo gets pretty tired as he's a young fighter who hasn't. And Jones kind of just dog walks him this round, lands a ton of shots. Right at the end, nearly finishes Solo with elbows against the cage. Honestly, they could have stopped it, but I'm glad they didn't, as I got my method of victory prediction right. But and Jones wins a 29-28 decision here. Very solid fight, honestly. I thought this was a ton of fun to watch. Might be fight of the year, honestly. This was hard. just two unranked dudes at lightweight scrapping it off. Like Mason Jones is really one of those guys who genuinely could be fighting for a BMF belt. Like that's how good or not good, how funny he is to watch. Like I think he's like a fight or two away from getting a ranked opponent. I'd say a fun fight from a lightweight, like run this dude versus Ribovic. If Ribovic loses to Gamrot, I need to see him versus Ribovic. Just inject that in my veins, bro. Inject him versus Ribovic in my veins, bro. Anyways, great fight for Mason Jones. Absolute banger, absolute war. Can't wait to see what he got. Can't wait to see him in his next fight. Next on the card, we have Danny Silva. Crazy upset here. I did not predict this. Danny Silva walks in there against Curtis Cambo, this prospect, undefeated prospect from the UK, very high level grappling game, and absolutely colds him. Like early in the first round, Campbell actually does pretty good. Is able to take down Silva, works to his back a couple times, but falls off. Then on the feet, eventually Silva backs him up to the fence and just unloads a nasty combination, drops Campbell bad, and then finishes him a ground and pound. Honestly, Danny Silva's pretty good, man. I mean, this guy went to a close decision with Kevin Vallejos, who's really good. Kevin Vallejos is one of the best featherweights on planet Earth. And Danny Silva did pretty well against him. Didn't get finished. Had some good moments against him. Made Vallejos have to resort to the grappling to beat him. Like, Silva's actually very solid. Has very good volume striking. Has a bit of power in his hands. I don't love his takedown defense, but his get-up game is pretty solid. So, I think Danny Silva actually has a pretty solid future at featherweight. I think he could be like a top 15 gatekeeper. He gives me those kind of vibes. So anyways, great win for Danny Silva, and I'm excited to see who he fights next. Next on the card, we had Christian Leroy Duncan picking up the win by unanimous decision against Roman Dolidze. So this fight is a little harder for Duncan or I'm not say harder, as it was pretty easy still, but it was a 29-28 decision. So first round, CLD kind of just walks in there, does his weird stance switching stuff. Doesn't try to like put Dolidze on the cage and hold him like he usually does in the first round against his opponents under like learn their reach. Try to land elbows in the clinch. Doesn't do that. And then just kind of just dances around on the feet. Lands a couple of big shots. I believe he drops Dolidze. Or like every time he rock Dolidze, he would just flop to his back and start going for a leg lock in this fight. Like this was the theme of this fight. I think he does that one time in the first round. COD wins that round pretty clearly. Kind of whoops Dolidze, lands some big shots. Dolidze throws, his punches at like 0.25 speed. Then round two, this is the one where COD borderline 10-8 this man. Like, I'm telling you, they weren't counted as knockdowns, but it probably should have been. Is every time COD would land something big on Dolidze, this guy would just flop to his back. And that happened like 5 times in the second round. Like, COD would land like a big straight shot, land a big, like, just a big right hook, and then Dolidze would just flop to his back and go for a leg lock. And third round comes around, it's clear COD wins so far, and then COD does it again. Hurts Dolidze, he flops to his back, going for a leg lock, and then he tries to go for ground and pound, falls on his back. Dolidze takes his back and then just basically spends the whole round controlling COD. So 29-28 decision from COD. COD is a bit of a goofball. Like this guy's falling over doing spinning attacks and stuff. He's low key. He's like, I mean, is he a circle head or is he a blockhead? I don't know, but bro, something. Honestly, that was a fun fight though. It was funny to watch, just watching Roman Dolidze slip and fall, going for leg locks. Yeah, this is a generational fight. I gotta say that. Anyways, good win for CLD. He's top 10 now. I think he can get a pretty good ranked fight. Like I'd be down to see a RoboCop rematch, something like that. Good win for CLD though. Next on the card, we had Iwo Baranuski winning by round 1 TKO against Austin Lane. I mean, who didn't expect this to happen? Like, let's be for real. Like, in about 7 seconds, I believe. I don't remember exactly how long it was, but I believe it was like 7 seconds. He just walks in there, gets close to Austin Lane, and then just bombs him with the right hand. Drops him badly, and then finishes him a ground and pound. Austin Lane complains about the stoppage. Bro, do you want more CT? Like, you should just be thankful the ref didn't let him punch you more, bro. Respectfully. Iwo Baranuski is powerful, man. I don't know exactly how skilled he is. Apparently he has grappling too. Like we don't know much about him, but he seems pretty solid for a heavyweight prospect. I mean, can eat some big shots. We found that out against Ibo Aslan. Has crazy knockout power while also having a judo base. So I'm excited to see this guy. I think he's actually pretty solid. So good win from Iwo Baranuski over Austin Lane. And then this fight genuinely was torture to my eyes. Ugh, MVP versus Sam Patterson. Ugh, yeah. Believe me, if it wasn't for the co-main in the main event, this card would have been fried after watching this fight. So I'm not even gonna go round by round because I don't remember much about I can't I just remember that this is how the whole fight was. So basically, MVP and Sam Patterson kind of danced around at each other at range. So for the first 2 rounds, Sam Patterson basically ran away the whole time. And MVP is a counter striker, so when someone's not throwing punches, then MVP won't throw punches. And guess what? Nothing's happening. Two dudes just staring at each other on the feet. And basically the first 2 rounds, MVP just lands 1 or 2 shots and wins the round by that because Patterson isn't landing nothing. Then third round, Patterson stops running, starts to be a little bit more aggressive, but doesn't throw anything. Tries to clinch MVP, tries to go for a body. He tries to go for like a trip off the fence, doesn't get it. MVP's actually improved his grappling, and then MVP wins pretty clearly here, 29-28. Pretty boring fight. One of the worst fights I've ever seen in my life, genuinely. This fight was genuinely torture to my eyes. Like, I don't know. MVP, honestly, I know everyone wants to call him boring now. I think he's had entertaining fights in the UFC. Like, the Holland fight was pretty good. The Sharon Bullet fight was pretty fun. Like, the Cannonier fight was pretty fun before Cannonier tried to smudge him in the third round. Like, MVP can be fun. It's just I think Patterson was just kind of a bad matchup for him style. Or not. It was a good matchup for him stylist. It was an easy matchup because it was an easy fight for him to win. But Patterson just didn't want to engage. So overall, pretty boring fight. Lackluster. It is what it is. Next on the fight, we had Luke Riley versus Michael Aswell. Honestly, this is a pretty fun fight. Honestly, so first round, both guys land big shots. At the start, what's it called? Michael Aswell does pretty well using a tie clinch to land some like uppercuts on Riley. Doesn't really hurt him that badly though, but does start to do some damage to his face. Then second half of the round, Riley really starts to box him up, kind of steals the round back. So 10-9 Riley first round. Second round, again kind of similar. Aswell has a lot of success earlier. I thought Aswell actually dropped him, but it was a slip I believe with a punch or something. And Riley storms back, lands big shots on him on the feet, wins that round. And then third round was kind of just not this. And then Riley kind of turns it up in the third round. Shows he has pretty solid cardio. Just starts piecing up Michael Aswell, landing big shots. Kid's fun, honestly. I don't know how high level he is. As we're gonna need to see him fight better opponents than like Michael Aswell and Bogdan Grad. His takedown defense is non-existent, but he has pretty clean boxing. I actually don't mind his boxing at all. I think Luke Riley's pretty solid. So pretty good win from Luke Riley. I'm curious to see what the UFC has planned for him next. Knowing the UFC, they're probably gonna give this man like 5 absolute cans. Wouldn't be surprised if he's fighting like who's someone that's terrible at featherweight, like Darius Flowers. Like you might fight him next. So good win for Luke Riley though. And then for our main event, pretty sick fight here, man. Movsar Evloev wins by majority decision. A little controversial, but I'm just gonna walk this through the rounds and how I saw it. Okay. So first round. So this round mostly takes place on the feet between Movsar and Lerone Murphy. Both guys land some good shots early in the round. Movsar actually rocks Murphy pretty bad to the body with the body kick. And then Murphy kind of he does well with his counter strike and landing little jabs and stuff on the outside. Nothing really hurts Evloev or anything, but he slightly does better on output. Evloev has the most damaging shot of the round, so I scored that round for him personally. Even though if you want to give Murphy it for volume, I understand too. Second round's another pretty close striking round. Movsar doesn't shoot a single takedown in the first or the second or the third, but we'll get to that. And so in the second round, kind of a similar round, but Murphy doesn't get rocked to the body and just kind of outputs Evloev. In a pretty high output fight, both guys have their moments, technical boxing, like in the second round, just very technical striking. Lerone slightly wins on output. And then third round comes along, second round I believe there was a nut shot, yeah. And then second round comes along, and then early in the round a nut shot happens, like 30 seconds in. And then for some reason the ref takes a point. Absolute idiot, by the way. Yeah. and then Evloev comes back and actually wins that round. Takes down Murphy, controls him for a little bit, then lets him up, which is weird. It looked like Evloev had like a clause to not shoot takedowns for the first 3 rounds of this fight or something. But Evloev actually slightly wins on the feet. Has a really good moment at the end of the round where he hurts Murphy pretty badly against the cage and lands a really good knee to the body. So I scored that round for Evloev. So it would be that round would be void. So 9-9. So I had it 2-0 Evloev going into this round. I had it 1-1 going into that round, going into the fourth. So, all right, how does that work? I'm trying to think. So yeah, 1-1. Because it's it would either be 2-0 Murphy, so yeah, 1-1, my bad. I was trying to process that. That's weird. Point deductions are weird. Fourth round comes along. Much clearer Movsar round. He starts to wrestle a lot more, starts to shoot some takedowns, which allows him to have moments on the feet. Murphy starts to freeze up. Lands a few good shots, but I think Evloev wins that round. And then fifth round, man, this is when Evloev really just locks in. Man, starts spamming takedowns like Robin there. Lands some big ground and pound on Murphy. Nearly finishes him at one point with some ground and pound. And wins a very clear round there. Murphy also hurt his hip in like the fourth round, I think. Yeah, that's which I mean, I don't think that's the reason he lost the fight, but you can, I don't really care. Then decision goes. Two judges scored what 48-46 for Mavzar like I did. I scored it 4-1 Mavzar with the point deduction. That's 48-46. And then one judge scores it a draw. So I think there's two ways. I think this fight's either you score it for Mavzar or you score it a draw. No in between. So it all comes down to that first round. I think the first round was a swing round. Overall, really fun fight, really fun technical fight. Crazy. Evloev showed he's pretty entertaining. Didn't shoot any takedowns for the first 3 rounds. Boxed up Lerone for a lot of this fight. And just looked better than him, honestly. I told you. I mean, I didn't think this wasn't an absolute domination. It would have been a dominant if Mavzar shot this whole fight. If he didn't, if he didn't just strike for the first 3 rounds, he would have won this fight 50-45. But very good win for Mavzar. I think it's time for the man to finally get his title shot. I think he's done enough to deserve it. And you know what that makes? That 3 straight main event picks for me, so I'm pretty happy. So anyways, overall, I went 11-2 on picks this week. That's that's probably like the second best or best I've done this year. Predictions rate rise. Like I did very solid on this card. Only got 2 picks wrong on the whole card. And then my locks, my locks under minus 350 odds all came through. So if you bet on Evloev, Pericic, Mason Jones, that parlay would have cashed. So overall, pretty fun card, honestly. Had a couple of absolute stinkers. The Pinto fight was really bad. The MVP fight was pretty bad. But there were some absolute heaters, too. Mason Jones, Axel Solo was fight of the year, maybe. Evloev, Laurel Murphy was up there, too. Really fun technical battle between two. Really, one of the most skilled fights I've honestly ever seen. Like, skill for skill, that was just a really high-level fight. So, I enjoyed this card. I thought it was pretty good. Anyways, let me know what y'all thought of the card. Did y'all like it? Did y'all enjoy it? And I'm going to catch y'all later. Peace.